1 minute we wait. The slide is on. Okay, so we are live. Good evening, friends. Today, welcome to day 4 of Auroville Convivial Talks. Today we have with us Srijita with us. I'll briefly introduce Srijita to our audience, and then Srijita, you can take it from there. Thank you very much for joining. Srijita Roy is an educator and researcher with 30 years of more than 30 years in integral education and specialized pedagogy. She focuses on at-risk adolescents and adults. She taught and counseled at AFPA from 1993 to 1997 and rehabilitation centers in 2002, and designed violent prevention programs in Paris School. Educated at SAICE BA and at Sorbonne Nouvelle Masters, she represented the International Abolitionist Federation at UN in Geneva. In Auroville, Srijita has worked at Matrimandir Offering Desk as police liaison at a safety and security team and continues to lead the Auroville Emergency Medical Services now. Her research focuses on integral education of Aurobindo and the mother and its manifestation to daily life and work. Thank you, Srijita. Over to you.
Thank you, Ribhu, and thank you for all who are listening. My favorite introduction is I'm a child of the mother and Aurobindo, and I strive to be as well as I can be. So the topic today, which I will be taking up, is what does it mean to live and work in Auroville? I've been now in Auroville in this adventure, in this experience since 2008, so the 18th year running. And contrary to many of my colleagues and friends, I have been here all through the year, summer, winter, autumn. So I see all the different seasons and also from different perspectives. So it's really a beautiful place to be and so much to learn. So before we delve into the topic of living and working in Auroville, I would like to also speak a little about what brought me to Auroville. So from my childhood, I was in Kolkata in the quest of an alternative way of learning, as I did not accept that learning by heart and passing examinations were of much use. At the age of 13, I traveled to Pondicherry with my family. I was impressed by the system of education of Sri Aurobindo International Center of Education, or SAICE, as it is known today, of Pondicherry. 2 years down the line, at the age of 15, on my own initiative, I applied for admission and was very fortunate to have been accepted in this esteemed institution. So the education received in this school laid the solid foundation for where I stand today. This system of education is an integral education, which develops the entire human being. Now, what does this mean? Because we have different definitions of integral education. For me, I had a taste of two systems. One was in the outside system where I had exams and learning by rote, which was all okay. It was fine, but it didn't answer my questions of how to become a complete human being. And that is where Aurobindo and Mother have really been close to my heart. Since the age of 15, I have been reading and practicing whatever I can. So to give an example concretely, in the ashram school, I could read Life Divine Synthesis for hours together, but at the same time, I could also go to the automotive workshop and repair bikes and cars. So that's a real practical example of how we can have philosophy and mechanical engineering, for example, working together. Which other school in the world would give me this? I have gone around the world and not found any other. So I'm very, very grateful to all my teachers, and some of them who were sadhaks who are no more. I express my gratitude here for all that they have given me. Now, during these school days, we were fortunate to have as teachers individuals who had grown up under the direct guidance of Mother and Aurobindo. They taught us profound lessons of life in utter simplicity. It was during this time that I came to know about Auroville. We used to come cycling in those days. This I'm talking about 1985, 86, 87. And it was a barren land. So we did see how Auroville came up. As for my journey, the calling for Auroville was there since my school days. Later on, my interest in education and more specifically in teaching methodologies and pedagogy took me to different educational institutions, and my area of specialization is action research. So, research has been for me always linked to my field of work, and more so in Auroville. And today I'm realizing more and more how applicable action research is to Auroville. As we all know, Auroville was envisaged by the mother as a city for the future, dedicated to the manifestation of the vision of Sri Aurobindo. From its inception, Auroville embodies the dream, the hope, the adventure, and above all, an intense aspiration for a new world that would transcend the limits of our human species and help man to ascend a higher consciousness, the supramental consciousness. The mother says, humanity is not the last rung of the terrestrial creation. Evolution continues, and man will be surpassed. It is for each individual to know whether he wants to participate in the advent of this new species. For those who are satisfied with the world as it is, Auroville obviously has no reason to exist. So yes, I answered the call. I am here to participate in the advent of this new species. Yes, mother. But how do we participate? That is the question. Well, this answer is slowly revealed to us, I believe, while we live, work, and grow in Auroville. Over a few decades, we see Auroville has become a veritable laboratory of human unification, convergence of ideas, ideals, knowledge, principles of sustainability, be it in the area of science, technology, sociology, alongside the spiritually awakened journey in the light of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. But we mustn't forget, all this has been possible due to the foundational principle of Auroville, which is to embody a spiritually elevated society, which is substantially different from the experiments of sustainable urbanization being followed by conventional professionals with a purely commercially attuned mindset. So it is in the intention. We're probably doing the same things, but what is the intention? Let us go further and explore. As we celebrate Auroville's birthday, I would like us to remind ourselves of the spirit of living and working in Auroville. For me, this is the crux of why I am here. The first few years of Auroville were consecrated simultaneously to the regeneration of the soil on a barren plateau and to the building of Matrimandir. The mother said in 1970, the Matrimandir will be the soul of Auroville. The sooner it is there, the better it will be for everybody. So work at Matrimandir has actually been an amazing example of unity. When we were children, we have seen the adults who were working there. And all say that they have been carried by an atmosphere of transformation during this work. So this is very beautiful for us to remember. Among the volunteers in those days were, of course, people staying in Auroville, but also many inmates of Sri Aurobindo Ashram who came daily, quietly, and participated in this work. As time passed, more and more people came and joined Auroville. The number grew steadily. Today, people are here from different professions, different social backgrounds, cultures, and they all live and work in Auroville. What is important to keep in mind is the original vision of the mother of the city of the future. So in this city of the future, all of us are invited to contribute, to work. But the question often arises as to whether I should choose a work which I like or work which is more required by the collective. I had this question when I came here. We can find some elements of an answer to this question in that beautiful, inspiring text, A Dream, written by the mother in 1954. I quote here an extract. In this place, titles and possessions would be replaced by opportunities to serve and organize. There, work would not be a way to earn one's living, but a way to express oneself and develop one's capacities and possibilities while being of service to the community as a whole. It's a profound text, and I think we should take some time to delve on it. What we are given to understand here is that through our daily work, we can progress and grow in our individual consciousness. At the same time, we are contributing to the manifestation of Auroville. So today, I find many young people coming to join Auroville. They often ask us, how is it that you are here? What is the hope? What is the dream? What is the situation? Some of them wish to continue to work in the same domain as they have done before. For example, a school teacher tells me, I want to teach in a school in Auroville. And he or she then goes and asks if there is a necessity or if there is a vacancy in the school. Some others, like a doctor who came recently and said, I don't want to see patients anymore, so he would like to engage in farming. That's also okay. There are still some others who never looked upon work as a career and are ready to take up any work that is required at present within Auroville. Each of us may have gone through these ways of working at different phases of our life in being here. For me, the third one speaks the most. In my experience, having had my foundation in the Ashram School of Pondicherry, I've always found joy in working as per the needs and requirement of a collective. And what I am reminded of when I again and again read Mother on Education, she says about self-perfection, I quote, for one who wants to grow in self-perfection, there are no great or small tasks, none that are important or unimportant. All are equally useful for one who aspires for progress and self-mastery. For progress and self-mastery. So this is for me very pertinent in Auroville. If the aim for me is progress and self-mastery, and the word we have, unending education in the charter, goes hand in hand with this. Therefore, for me in Auroville, I have taken every work opportunity as a means to progress inwardly, but develop my capacities outwardly as well. Initially, as a parent of a 5-year-old, I could not devote many hours to my daily work. So my team members accepted I could do 4-5 hours of work daily, and that was accepted. So I'm very grateful to the community, to those Aurovillians with whom I started working. As my child grew up, I devoted more time to work joyfully. Hours increased, and I could just offer it to the mother. At all times, I could just say, let thy will be done. And I remind myself of her beautiful words. It is in work done as an offering to the divine that the consciousness develops best. So if we are here to move forward, to progress, for the consciousness to move forward, then offering and surrender are a major part of our life. And when that is a major part of our life, we don't count the hours anymore. It's not about 6 hours only. But when I had a child, I could work only 5 hours. But when my child became an adolescent, I could do a 24/7. And he could see the example at home and hopefully learn. Right? So this is Auroville. So these words of the mother and Aurobindo guide me and give me the energy required for the work to be done as well as possible. I have enjoyed thoroughly working many years at Matrimandir Offerings desk, welcoming donors, writing notes of gratitude for them, handwritten notes. I really enjoyed doing that. While continuing to work there, I took up an additional task of police liaison at the safety and security team. Now, this was a different task. It had different challenges, but I really enjoyed because once again, I asked for the mother's protection every time I walked into a police station, every time I had to work for Auroville. And it works. It works miracles. So, this is what I want to really bring forward for the young who want to join Auroville, who want to come forward. It has not been about counting my hours of work, but trying to contribute as best as I can to help manifest the dream. Since I had worked with the police earlier, I knew a little bit of the pluses and minuses of how to work with them. I would often tell them, we are here to help you to help us. And that would work. We are not being arrogant. We are not being complacent. We are firm. So this part of me came out in the safety and security team, which was not necessary in the Matrimandir Offerings desk. So if we are at her service, she will make us do that work which is necessary. So it was very tough because mentally and physically, the strength you need is not easy to do it and stay awake at night, be available for the community. But I have grown inwardly a lot. I really thank the people who came forward and gave me this experience. So now at the Emergency Medical Services, there's a different task asked of me. I could have said, no, I don't understand medical work. This is not my line. Although I had a training in medical legal because I was working with law enforcement agencies. I said, never mind. Nobody else is taking it up. Okay, how can I say no? Auroville needs it. So I became the primary dispatcher, taking the first calls for the medical emergencies 7 days a week in the beginning. And slowly, I appealed to the young people of Auroville, would you come forward 1 day at a time, 2 days, 3 days a week? And now we have a team of beautiful 8 young people who are contributing. It is my duty as a senior at this moment to guide them, lead them by example, not just with words. So if I expect that they will be on duty at night, well, I also have to show them that I'm doing the same, if not more. Otherwise, how can I expect from them? And I must say, it has been a joy to build this team along with our other team leader. And we are training, facilitating, we are moving forward. It's a very difficult task. We see all kinds of things, violence, death in this service. We cannot say no. We cannot just say, oh, I cannot do this. We have to get our inner strength. And prayer, consecration, these are the words which are required in action. So at this juncture, I'm trying to lead the team. As you may know very well, we work on Sundays, we work at nights, and these constraints often dissuade individuals from joining this service. They say, oh, I don't want to work here. No, because 36 hours in the daytime, it's okay, but at night. And then I request them maybe once, you can try it out, And some of them are then happy to continue. So we have to give this joy of service, this joy of work, we have to radiate that around us. And that is only through action, not just merely by words. So when I carry out this work as an offering to the mother, I realize that many, many difficulties are actually opportunities for progress. So what we do with the team, and I'll come to that, we tell them that the work is important, but it is also how you are growing inside, who you are becoming at the end of the day. So as a team leader today, trying to enhance efficiency of the service, I'm also looking after the team. That is very important. This is possible through team building, through regular trainings, case studies, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes. We grow. We are here to embody growth, progress, and give an exemplary service, if I may say. Otherwise, how are we different? So we all often refer also to texts of the mother and Aurobindo on relevant subjects. For example, we read on what she has said on death, on accidents, why it happens, what is the meaning of adverse forces. So you see, for this, it is required that the team leaders also are equipped. They keep up their training. It's not just training the younger ones, but we have to upgrade our training regularly, not on the material field only, but also as for the inner growth of the team. And for that, we have to keep reading Mother and Aurobindo. That is where our inspiration will be coming from to be in Auroville. It is their vision. So we are also learning another thing very important, how to remain equal and quiet in the face of difficult circumstances and concentrate on the present, which Mother had insisted a lot on. It is not the past, not the future. It is in the present that we have to be. So these are but few examples I wanted to bring forward while we are trying to practice that text in the dream, which I just now said, and I like to reiterate. Work will be a way to express oneself, develop one's capacities, possibilities, while being of service to the community as a whole. So it is not the individual at the cost of the collectivity, or the collectivity, predominantly it is both are given importance. And how do you do that? So our aim is to work in a spirit of service, make sure we are progressing inwardly as well as outwardly, and we are also acquiring new additional skills. And I'm trying my best nowadays to create that conducive atmosphere for these young people to come forward, to learn more, to have the joy of learning. And it's not just about going on an ambulance, but how do you work with the patients? How do you take care of them? How will you go to the hospital? How exemplary can you be? So in any work, we can do this. I'm doing it in the EMS. Somebody else can do it in Solar Kitchen. Somebody else can do it in performing arts or in the schools. But work as an offering to the divine, that is definitely different than work carried out in an ordinary way. So we do hear often Aurovillians should work 36 hours a week, right? That is something which we hear very often. What I have understood over the years is that we would contribute to collective growth through work as much as our physical capacity permits. Because somebody can be physically stronger than the other person, but for that we have to be really sincere. There are days when I have had to take leave because the night before I have been on 3 calls. And if I'm sincere, I've seen my team says, yes, you can take off. They don't even ask questions. So I think it is how much I can do, and it's not the 36 hours or the 24 hours. And we have to keep in mind at the same time that discipline is necessary. Freedom, yes, but which kind of freedom? We have a lot of flexibility in our team trainings. But if we don't have an inner discipline, when I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, if I am not there, well, then I'm failing somewhere. Or I better not take up that job. So commitment, discipline. Mother says in 1968, speaking about Auroville, she says, no big creation is possible without discipline. Individual discipline, group discipline, discipline towards the divine. So this is a very interesting topic which comes up in Auroville, because often I hear discipline means rigidity. We don't want all that. We want to be free. Yes, freedom, yes, but are you capable of handling your freedom? Am I capable of handling my freedom? Making choices. So it doesn't mean a rigid imposition of work, but I encourage myself and all others around me to work together in the joy of service. So this way of working is, of course, possible, and this brings me to the next part of living and working in Auroville. If I have a steady place of living and my basic needs are taken care of. Today, the Auroville economy provides a sum of money in the form of what is called an Auroville maintenance for one's subsistence. Many say it's not enough. I am personally grateful for what I receive, as I think it comes from the mother, and those who are allotting it to me are only instruments, her instruments. I'm also at the same time looking forward to the manifestation of Auroville prosperity, which might bring about a change necessary. But all the basic needs of the Aurovillians have to be taken care of. So this is something also which I have to look into when I'm living and working in Auroville. And I'm very grateful for all the housing opportunities I have had. When I joined the Auroville adventure, I participated in house sitting opportunities, which allowed me to interact with residents and different ways of living in Auroville. One can look at it as a difficulty because you have to move houses very often with a small child. It's not easy. But I think it was a blessing to receive so much help from Aurovillians while I was working, my child was in school, and it worked out. It doesn't mean there were no difficulties, but it worked out. I feel the mother has given me at all times what I needed for progress, inwardly and outwardly. So, in spite of the apparent difficulties, the joy of learning and progressing continues till today to give me the energy needed for the work to be done, whatever work. Today I am in the EMS, tomorrow I might be called for something else. I'm ready. It is very important for me to keep the perspective clear as to why I am in Auroville, and I keep reminding myself, thank you, Mother. It's a great opportunity for me to be able to participate in the manifestation of her dream. May I end in French, Victoire à la douce mère. Thank you.
What did you say the last in French? Can you please translate?
Victory to the sweet mother.
Okay. Thank you, Srijita, for this your reflection of how your journey has been, and putting the emphasis back on discipline and sincerity. How do you think, when these days that you are seeing newcomers come, and it's in 2008, how do you think is a lot of people, a lot of time I have volunteers coming up and they say, "Ki, what can they do?" Uh, in particularly my case, I didn't have to, I was not given any task, and I kept doing whatever came my way. Uh, but how do you think this volunteering happens? In terms of uh, this, what the collective needs or what one wants to offer. Where does this synthesis happen? Uh, is the fact that uh, uh, how do you think it works out? Because my personal experience would be an exception to go for. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, my personal experience would be an exception because I never worked for any service. I was never told to do this or that. Um, uh, And I always believe that if I have done something and if there is nothing happened, then nobody knows about it. And, yeah, and if nobody knows about it, then there is no point me telling about what I'm doing. Uh, so, but these days there is a sense of how do we go about doing that? You know, is there a process to it? Is it too straitjacketed, or in general we are losing our ability to kind of offer and be of use, and we are only looking for systems which can make use of us. So
Yeah. So
how does that happen? When in terms of I go to an institution and say, okay, make use of me, and the institution can't make use of us. So we have these small silos or services where people are put to use, they like it or not. Because the way I felt was, for me at least, it was open, and yeah, I cannot say I did anything like a master, but like I kept the house where I first for a couple of days stayed to clean, and then I kept made sure and I just stayed on. But I constantly I have people coming and I want to volunteer, and I have no answer for them. You know, I said, yes, you start volunteering right away. You know, there is a lot of work to do at my place and outside my door, and there's so much to do in Auroville, but still, like, it's somehow there is an halt, because in 2017 when I came, what actually struck me was I am a smoker, so I had smoked, and 2 days later, when I was standing at one point looking at the thing in front, I saw a cigarette butt, and I knew that butt, which is lying 6 feet ahead, is mine. Uh, but that scenario today, it is a bit different. You know that maybe I was under some kind of a spell at that point, but there is a certain amount of indifference which is gradually growing. That even today, when work is happening outside my house, some landlord people are working. I am pretty indifferent, because, but that was not how I was. You know, I came like one would say, the Auroville does not belong to anybody in particular, but the whole of Auroville belongs to me, and 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 that sense of ownership, that the road is mine, the hospital is mine, that service is mine, and I am available. Uh, is there a shift in that in the recent times, that people are feel alienated and they say, okay, it's none of my business, you know, they are going to take care of it.
Okay, so it's a very interesting question, Ribu. I feel that in the years 2005, 6, 7, when I was also volunteering at that time at Center for Scientific Research, I came through friends who said, yes, there's a possibility. So I tried out. So I think it is basically in the spirit more than the work per se. So it's the attitude, and it does take time. What you are saying, I can see, because I do meet a lot of young people here in Auroville now who are coming from different places and want to join. But I do tell them, if you want it to be the same way as it is outside, it's not going to work. Because whether we build a system or we don't build a system, whether we have a SAVI or an entry service or we don't, my experience in Auroville is this, that you have to give the time. And with time, that's what I said initially, it gets revealed to you where you can contribute and progress. So during the newcomer period, it's quite interesting. I have 3 or 4 newcomers who are on the Auroville Emergency Services. I tell them, explore. Don't get, just because I need somebody full time, I should not be preventing them from exploring other work.
Correct.
Right? So even as team leaders, we have to see that we are guiding them into Auroville, as I said, facilitating what you were saying. Now, is it getting closed? I don't think so. I think people are coming with a lot more expectations than if we look back in the 80s, our seniors who were there, what did they have? So it's a question of a shift of perspective. What am I looking for? Have I come to give or have I come to receive? This was the question which was asked to me in the newcomer program in 2009, that time. And I said, I'm here to give, and automatically I'm receiving. So
Correct.
what is the problem?
Yes.
And everybody laughed, and it was such a joyful atmosphere. So I don't know if I'm being naive, but I think that joy, that happiness has to be there, and we have to encourage that with the young people. If they are here, they are here. If they stay for a few days and they go away, they carry with them something beautiful also. Everybody doesn't have to be in Auroville.
Yeah, yeah. At least in my case, it has been extremely wonderful and magical.
Same
Though
here.
it has been it has been at times very scary, but
Part of life.
and I only hope to pass on that magic, And every time I am asked otherwise, I said, "But I have been an exception. How can I? How can I?"
So I
Stop the
join your
exception?
club. Let the exceptions be more and more. I think it's a question of perspective.
Yeah.
And we can encourage people to shift that perspective.
Yeah. Thank you, Srijita. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing your journey and your thoughts. And we hope that we can always keep our eyes open to have a look at our own selves through various means, uh, through our seniors. The dialogue between intergeneration dialogue increases. We have more such space to talk about and share our ideas and to welcome other ideas, which a lot of people think that they have so much to share to Auroville, but Auroville just does not receive. We are too busy with ourselves. How do we create such platforms so that we can receive the offering? Many times it is intangible, and energy and time is all that youth has to give, and we should be able to receive and make sure that they are well taken care of. Thank you so much, Srijita.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity, Ribu.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.